guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Audi Wesley Chapel, but it's for a very, very special reason. I have this lightly modified, expecting to get even modified more, 2020 Audi S6. And what makes this review so special is that this car is actually owned by a dear friend of mine, Chris, who's also a devoted, obviously, Rady's Rides fan. Started as a Rady's Rides fan and subscriber, now a very good friend of mine who works at this location. And because of the 2020 review we did already on the S6, that white one, he went out and had to have one for himself, but he decided to add some of those extra personal touches, which I think elevates the car to a new level. But before we dive into this particular S6, let's talk about what this Audi brand is all about. This iconic German brand really fortified so much of their name on performance and racing, not only from rally racing, but also world endurance racing. Now, one thing that they are really, really good with and are known for is their Quattro all-wheel drive system, and they've been able to develop all that technology from racing. Now, when you hear S6, this car is an S6. The way it works is Audi, your entry level is A6. You want a little bit extra performance, you go S6. And if you're lucky enough, if your particular model that you're looking at has the utmost in performance, it would be an RS6. No matter which way you go though, with this S6, you're getting a nice balance of performance. And here in the United States, we have a totally different engine setup than what's available over in Europe. So let's go ahead, dive into Chris's 2020 S6 and see why it really is that performance sedan standout. Right off the bat, love the color in black. Much more sinister than the white one that we featured. We kind of come in for 2020. Remember, there was some refreshes that have gone on. So they refreshed the whole front end of the vehicle and especially what's underneath that hood, but you're gonna have to wait for that. Love Audi's headlight design, full LED, of course, LED daytime running lamps and turn signals. Even the way that they shape the headlight housing really has a great look. Now, as you drop down, you have some gloss black, which is working very well because we have a gloss black car, but you have full functional venting and side air curtain. And then look at the multiple step front splitter area. The way it's all integrated in the front fascia, super, super clean. Now, as we come across the grille, that iconic 4 rings of the Auto Union, there's our S6 badge. I'm gonna have Victor zoom in on that. When you see S, when you see that red color, you're looking at extra performance. So S6, more performance over an A6. Love the gloss black grille, the way it just cleans everything up. And I'm glad that Chris left the Audi badge bright silver. Now, there's touches around the car that he actually had blacked out, not wrapped, but literally painted the same color of the car to just make it all blend in very nicely. You do have a forward-facing camera, drop down. The way that Audi does their lip spoiler integrated nicely is gonna give us that downforce and then also feed all that air into the coolers and radiators and all the other inner bits underneath that hood. Speaking of the hood, we rise on up, and what I love about Audi, simple. 2 lines, one on each side, kind of curves up, goes towards the A-pillar. Other side, same story. That's gonna give us a nice visual reference point so you could hit your marks, because I'm telling you right now, even though this is a larger sedan, performance is at the top and you could really enjoy this through some twisty bits. As we come around the bend, check out these wheels that Chris decided to add. These are those Vossen wheels. Love the design, metallic gunmetal gray, multi-spoke. Love the definition. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? This is a 22-inch wheel, so that's 22 inches in diameter. Sneaking past that is a caliper that's bigger than me. That's like a Joe Rady, Rady's Rides, supersized 6-piston caliper. Love the S branding on it. That bright red color really pops from behind the Vossen wheel, that beautiful gunmetal. And this is a beautiful hybrid forged wheel. So forged, remember, is stronger than cast aluminum, and that's gonna give us a lighter wheel, a stronger wheel. Behind that, you can see the 2-piece rotor, massive ventilated rotors. These things are gonna stop this S6 on a Euro and give everybody change. Now, if you're wondering what's the size of this setup, you're looking at 265 on the width and a very rubber band thin 30 series sidewall. Pops nicely. Now this car, remember, has air ride suspension. Chris decided to add some lowering links to give us that perfect wheel fender gap. So clean. Now as we go down the fender, you can see the nice, strong, prominent lines. And then one thing that Chris did that I think really changes the whole personality is he actually had them paint the trim around the window treatment. It normally comes that bright brushed aluminum. I think with black, that's exactly how it should have came from the factory. Of course, you're gonna have color match mirror caps with your turn signals built in. Now, Chris is an avid bicyclist, so he decided to go with the official Audi roof racks. I'm gonna zonk them. I think it kills the look of the car, but I know for versatility so that he could bring his bicycle from place to place, he has that ability. They're just really, really super high. I've seen roof racks that are a little bit lower that look a little cleaner, but the nice thing is they are Audi official, so you can tell all your friends. Belt line, super clean. Look at the way they kind of step out the rear fender. Love that design element. Everywhere you look, this car is just low, wide, and mean. And when we get to the back, the tail end of the business, you have a little bit of a nice trunk spoiler that just kicks up enough. He decided to black out. This is normally shiny chrome. He blacked out this trim, looks super clean. Of course, you're gonna get full LED taillights, turn signals, the whole shabam. You got your quad tip exhaust, that gloss black. Love the rear diffuser area. The one thing I would zonk is this fake vent. I wish they would just leave that smooth or just bring this piece up to the bottom portion here. S6 badge, you can just see how low and how wide this thing is. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this 2020 S6. All right, guys, we got the hood popped on Chris's S6. One of my favorite things is this power plant. First of all, look at that engine cover. Beautiful metallic silver, the red trim, the auto union badge, looks really clean. Underneath that engine cover, you are looking at a 2.9 liter twin turbo V6 with an electric supercharger that's gonna produce 444 horsepower, 443 pound-feet of torque. It's all mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and power is getting to the ground through that quattro all-wheel drive system. 0 to 60 in about 4.3 seconds, and think about that time, because this vehicle weighs almost 4,500 pounds. It's 4,486 pounds. It has a regulated top speed of 155 miles an hour, MPGs 18 in the city, 28 on the highway. And if you're wondering, Joe, what kind of Vossen wheels are those? I want those on my car. Those are the Vossen HF4Ts, but nice setup. The next step that Chris wants to do is go ahead and get some resonator deletes on this thing to let the engine kind of breathe a little bit better on the exhaust side. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's hear what this S6 sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside Chris's 2020 Audi S6. Guess what? This is not Chris's first time he's had his car on Rady's Rides. This is part 2 before he was such a really good friend of mine. Guess what? We featured his Lexus GSF, that silver GSF that had a V8 that rumbled like crazy. You know what? He's got good taste in cars, that's for sure. And he's such a good, devoted fan and friend. I figured why not just feature his car again. But if you're wondering, well, Joe, how much does a car like this cost? You're basically looking around the $80,000 mark plus, depending on what options and whatnot that you have. But let's see what you get for the money. Now, to the door panels, I like at the top, it's nice and soft. You got that stitch work all the way across the top. You have that beautiful stained wood trim, and I'm so glad they didn't do gloss black or carbon fiber. It's nice to have something different. It's a nice dark stain, no varnish on it. The silver is nice and bright. In the center of the door panel, you have that Alcantara. Looks really clean, just enough. Soft leather on the armrest with some nice white contrast stitching. And then you have a door pocket there for a couple Popeyes chicken sandwiches and some water to wash it down. And this one does have the optional B&O sound system. Now, when we go from the door panel to the dash, soft touch, there's that beautiful wood trim. There is a bunch of gloss black, and I am gonna zonk that. I wish they would have went something a little less shiny, but I do like the classy Quattro badge here, and I love the way everything flows nicely into our infotainment area. Now, this is an over 10-inch screen, so Chris does have over 10 inches, at least in his car. It is navigation, obviously, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, real nice, easy to navigate through. We could go into our vehicle settings, your Audi Drive Select. There's Chris's car. We're gonna keep that in dynamic mode, especially when we take this for a drive, and all the other different features that you could get. Let me throw it into reverse and show you the backup camera. You do have trajectory, which is really nice, and you have 360 cam, which is also nice as well. Put it back into park, and there's our front camera with trajectory. Nice touches. We drop down, we have an 8-inch display for all our AC controls, heated seats, real easy to get to. I am gonna zonk it though, no ventilated seats. I gotta have ventilated seats in my S6. Love the nice brushed, bright anodized aluminum here. The brushed aluminum looks great. That wood trim is great as well. You have the perforated leather for that 8-speed automatic transmission. And then 2 cup holders, which I'm gonna zonk. It would be nice to have a lid, but you do have your 12-volt here, and then here is your key fob. Nice and clean, Audi badge on it. Flip it around. There's the S badge, very, very classy. We'll leave that here. The wood trim is great. This silver, the way everything just flows, the lines, just like on the exterior, flow very nice on the interior. Armrest is as hard as a rock, but the good news is the leather is really supple. And then you lift this up, you got wireless charging, 2 USBs, which are great. Close that up, and then the seats are my favorite. Love the S badging. The stitch work is to die for. Audi does some of the best seats in the business. You can see the bolstering on your S6 is quite substantial. You do have the hamstring extension to really hold you in nicely, especially if you have longer legs. And of course, it's full power assist for the passenger and the driver. We do have a super-sized sunroof. It's not a panoramic sunroof, but it is a sunroof that's a little larger than your typical sunroof. So that's a nice touch. You got a frameless auto-dimming mirror, and you can see plenty of headroom, plenty of shoulder room. Great position to really carve up some corners. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this 2020 S6. All right, guys, we're behind the wheel of the business end. You do have 2 memory seat settings, which is nice for the driver's side. And I like the way they integrate the buttons nicely into the trim. You have some bright silver on the sill panel with the S badge that lights up, and then pedals are nice and large. The dead pedal, super size, large brake pedal, and a great looking throttle there, because we're gonna have some on throttle fun in Chris's S6. You have your seat controls, easy to get to. The brushed aluminum is a nice touch. And then steering wheel. They did a great job with the thickness. You have some contrast stitching, almost looks like a baseball. The perforated leather. It's not flat bottom, but it still looks great. The S badge is super nice to have to let you know that you got something a little bit more than your standard vehicle from Audi. The gloss black, the horn button, and look at that. Even this is in the same shape as a grille. Very, very classy touches. Super thin on the spokes. You do have 2 plastic paddles, and I am gonna zonk them because they're plastic and they could be a little bit larger to go up and down the 8-speed. But one thing I'm not gonna zonk is that dash. The virtual cockpit, so sexy, so clear. You got the navigation in the center, and then of course you could toggle through a plethora of information, but it's great to see that kind of quality, and that's one of the reasons why I really like the Audi interiors more so compared to some of the other German brands. But why don't we check out that back seat and see, are your passengers gonna enjoy the space they have while you're having a blast up front? All right, guys, backseat time in Chris's Audi S6. Love the amount of space back here. Very, very comfortable. I'm 6 feet tall, just like I was up there. Plenty of headroom. I'm not even tight for space whatsoever. Love the backs of the seats. The stitch work is so beautiful. Cargo nets I'm not digging. I wish they would just give me some leather pockets, but the good news is you could put a mirror in there, an abacus, maybe a couple books. Try to convince people that your kids are smart. You can put a couple books in there. When they see that, they say, oh, your kid's reading? You can say, yeah. You got AC vents. I love the angle of them. The way that they have them kind of angled up really directs the airflow nice. You have the beautiful touch controls just like up front. 2 USBs and a 12 volt. Like I said, plenty of leg room. Armrests. We pull this down. It's a little on the hard side, but the good news is you have storage and it's felt lined, so you could put your peanut M&Ms in here and you're not going to crush your nuts, because no guy wants his nuts crushed. To close it up, you have 2 cup holders. We'll flip that back and then you get the same great stitch work on the back seats as you do the front seats. But why don't we go ahead, let's check out the trunk and see how much space we have in this Audi S6. All right guys, probably one of the best parts about this S6 is its versatility. Nice wide opening, great amount of space. That's what's going to allow this to be used in many different ways. And guess what? You don't need an SUV. You could have this S6, have the performance and the usability. I like the way on the side over here, I like this cargo net because you could put a large box of German chocolate Twinkies back there. They're going to stay in place. And guess what? The good news is you're not going to have to worry about somebody getting hangry. But why don't we go ahead? Let's get to the best part. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take this S6 for a spin. All right, guys, we're in Chris's Audi S6. Right away, I love the interior, the seats, the steering wheel. The one thing I don't love, I don't know if you noticed, there's glare on my face, and it's coming off the silver trim and the gloss black that's on the interior. Just something to be aware of. And you know, it's around almost 11:30 in the morning, my time, and that's where the sun is, so it really is kind of blasting me in my face. But other than that, it's very comfortable in here, very spacious, and very well laid out. Now, if you were looking at that AC system and saying, wow, that looks really confusing, it's actually not too shabby, to be honest with you. Once you get the hang of it, works really well, and it's super clear. The graphics, the font, everything looks really clear with it. All right, guys, let's do a little acceleration. I'm gonna leave it in automatic mode, on throttle. All-wheel drive keeps us planted, and we are off and running. We're in dynamic mode. Fast shifts, really, really smooth. Those massive calipers, the size of my body, are slowing us down. Man, the feedback into the steering, back on throttle. On the brakes, wow, look at this. You just shed the speed, very quick steering. Nice, look at that. Little bit of pivot at the back of the car, allows you to square off the turn very nicely. But I'm telling you right now, the way that they have this chassis balanced really works wonderful. We got Miatas backing up out of nowhere, just another day on Rady's Rides. But the way that the front end is connected to this steering wheel feels phenomenal with a capital FH. Obviously, with being Chris's baby, I'm not gonna go too crazy on the on-throttle action, but definitely really, really nice. Even with the 22-inch wheels, you're getting great feedback. Now, the 22-inch wheel with the lower sidewall, of course, gives you a little bit more firm ride, but hey, this is a performance-oriented car, so just one of those kind of trade-offs. But boy, do they look good, that's for sure. But let's see how we go through the roundabouts again. Slow roll, on throttle. Nice sound on the brakes. You can hear that electric supercharger you just wipe out the amount of boost lag. There's no boost lag whatsoever. Love these roundabouts. Love this car. It really is an amazing vehicle. Back on the brakes. Look at this. So smooth. Little bit, it's so telling of the engineering prowess at Audi when the back comes out just a little bit. Even on an all-wheel drive car, back comes out just a little bit to allow you to square off that turn and just catapult you right out of exit. That's what you want. That's good feedback. That's good feeling. right, guys, one more time for Chris. One more time definitely for you, and one more time for me on throttle. Love the sound. Feeling good. On those massive calipers, look at this. Trying to be a little quiet, let you enjoy the drive. Little bit around, little bit around. I'm telling you, the brakes are just so impressive. And what's so nice is having that electric supercharger just mitigates the waiting for boost to come in from those twin turbos. You just instant throttle response, and you're being projected and propelled like none other. And this vehicle is no lightweight. She weighs almost 4,500 pounds or so. So the way she's able to dance like that is quite impressive. All right, guys, one more time. Here we go. On throttle. So wonderful. Really just so amazing. The technology that we have with the all-wheel drive, with that twin turbo supercharged setup. Very special car for a very special person like Chris. But we're gonna get back to Audi Wesley Chapel, wrap this up, and give Chris his car back. It's definitely Rady's Rides approved, so I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day. We definitely got to thank Chris for allowing us access to his baby, this 2020 S6. They already come great from the factory, but you can see some of these touches really add up to a bigger picture and allow you to kind of have that personal touch on your particular car. And I really think that Chris hit the nail on the head with every direction he went in. I'm just not really digging those roof racks. But other than that, I'm in love with this car, the way it drives, the way it makes you feel when you're behind the wheel. It makes you know that, hey, this is an enthusiast style sedan. But if it's cars like these that you want to see on Rady's Rides, these German sport performance sedans, put a comment in that comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to get out to Victor out here getting this S6 all on camera for you. Check him out on Instagram at Victor Scott Wang. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.